Good morning, friends. I am just now getting up and taking the pups out for their morning business. I poured myself some papaya. I keep it frozen so that way I can have some smoothies ahead of time so I don't have to make a lot of noise with the blender. Super delicious. It's just papaya and banana, and papaya is so good for you in the morning because it helps to like detox the system, cleanse the system, and that's what we need in the mornings. Some delicious nutrition. So I've got that sitting out here. Can you believe it's December and I'm in like a tank top? Friends, Florida's crazy. That's why people move to Florida, because they don't have we don't have really harsh winters. Come on, girls. But I have some stuff that I need to get done in the garden. This is the bed that I was telling you guys about that just kind of took over, started doing its own thing. Look at that bed. There is just nasturtium. There are tomatoes that have come up. This was supposed to be a kale bed, and it's just overflowing with what the good Lord wants it to have. This is some oregano. It smells beautiful. Here's my kale. Look at it hidden down in there. I started actually removing some of these tomatoes and transplanting them to other beds just because, like I said, I didn't plant these. This is crazy. And then over here, nasturtiums came up all on their own. I did not plant these. This was a red mustard green. Look at it. It's so beautiful. I think because our weather has been kind of warm, the mustard greens have kind of been just doing their own thing, not really producing as much as I would like to see, but they're producing. So I am completely happy with that. We have a lot of fallen leaves in the bed. You can see that the leaves just kind of pile up, and what I do is I go around and I just clean them up, and I end up just making some natural mulch with them and putting them in the beds that really need a lot of love, and just letting them break down in those beds. Pumpkin is over there eating the say-so spinach, or Brazilian spinach, that is around our tree. My puppies actually love that spinach. They will just eat it. You can see a tomato went rogue over here. We're gonna leave that, let it be happy. I've got nasturtium or nastrium also popping up on their own right there and right there. They're beautiful, honestly. I just let them do whatever the good Lord wants them to do. Now, I have to show y'all this. There's more nasturtium around my bananas. The bananas are still doing great. Look at them. Oh my goodness. Friends, I cannot wait for these fresh, just homegrown bananas to come in. There is nothing that excites me more than just seeing fresh produce like this just hanging all about in the garden. Listen, this is what God intended for us to have, our own food system. You know, we really cannot keep being dependent on what the farmers are doing. Although I love my farmers, don't mistake what I'm saying, but we need to help ourselves at the same time. All right, friends, so what's happening here is we had a little bit of a windstorm come through, and so my plants are just falling over. These are eggplants. At this point, I'm going to let them continue to fall. And the reason why I'm saying that is because there's no way that I'm going to be able to get a cage over them. Now, what I have thought about doing is, because I have these poles here, this is the bed, the Vigo bed that the screen ripped on. It's just a crappy screen, honestly. I'm just going to say that. This one. Maybe this was a first gen, I don't know. You know, sometimes things get better. I love my Vigo beds, so there's nothing negative against the company, but this screen is really cruddy. Friends, look, there are plenty of flowers on the plants. You can see we've got some damage here. It looks like probably some type of bug is trying to get into it. I will spray these plants, or it could have just fallen over and gotten ripped by the wind, but nonetheless, you can see there's definitely some damage on some of these plants. Look, there's another beautiful flower. Look at that flower. That is just gorgeous. There's budding all over this plant here. Oh yeah, look at this. Y'all see that? there's just buds all over the plant here. Yeah, that's beautiful. But what I think I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna just get some string. I have some string, and I think I'm gonna pull these back and kind of tie them back to these poles for now, because like I said, getting a cage on them is just not, it's not gonna happen. More leaves from our tree, that's fine. It makes mulch. I gotta clean. Look how large these leaves are. Look, this is my hand. And do you see the size of this leaf? This is giant. These leaves, you just can't keep up with them. So we'll clean out our pool. We do this literally, no joke, almost every day. At least every other day we are cleaning out that pool. I have a rogue tomato down there. I'm just gonna leave it. I'm gonna clean this area up. Like I said, this becomes nutrition back into our soil. And so I'm gonna get that cleaned up. I've got my beautiful basil hanging out over there. There's mint. Y'all see that mint? That's beautiful for tea. Mint. There's more mint creeping around over there. When the weather starts to cool down, the mint starts doing, you know, what it should do. That's lettuce, but it's not doing right. So there's some onions back there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's some onions. It smells good in here. I love it. And yeah, there's some more lettuce right here. We've got our romaine. See, it's been so warm. Do you see it's almost wanting to just bolt? For winter, quote unquote, it's definitely wanting to take off and just bolt. Oh, these are one of my radishes, my daikon radishes. I gotta get some fertilizer over here, treat this area a little bit. This is where I was putting my dying cabbages. They're coming back though. They're coming back. Got some broccoli, got a little bit of cabbage stuff going on. These are little radishes that are popping up. They reseeded over here. Yeah, so radish. That's fine, you know, sometimes, you know, Mother Earth just brings you whatever, and that's okay. All right, so we have planted over here in this bed, we have planted some carrots. You can see some tiny little sprouts right there. And I have some over here in this area. I can see them starting to pop. Now, I've had some cardboard over the top of these, and that is what you want to do, is place your cardboard on the top. I definitely see quite a bit of little growth coming up, so we'll see how that goes. Obviously, if it gets too cold, we will end up covering these beds, because while it is winter here, we will end up needing to keep those babies protected. You can see my gingers dying back. That's what happens in the fall. No big deal. We got to clean this bed up today. That's one of the projects on my list of things to do. Again, more nasturtium. They planted themselves. That's fine. This will be the year for nasturtiums. God brings us what we want and what we need, and sometimes we don't even know we need it. All right, look at this bed. This bed, look, this is where all the nasturtium or nasturtium seeds fell, and they just started replanting on their own. I'm gonna let them just do their thing because it's beautiful. I absolutely love nasturtium. I love to pickle the seeds. Look at this. Oh my God, I have to come out here and get this cleaned up today. I have a pair of scissors in my back pocket. Look at the leaves, friends. Like, here's my hand, and it goes all the way down into the bed. This is giant. This is a Chinese cabbage. I'm taking this out today, and we're gonna be eating some Chinese cabbage for our lunch or dinner, or both, because there's so much of it. I mean, that's what you want to see. I mean, friends, come on. I love this so much. And I'm so happy with how that cabbage turned out. Now, I had planted 4, but only 1 popped up. And I think part of the problem is, and I'm going to be real honest about it, is these leaves fall. And because I've been working so much, I haven't had the opportunity to, on the daily, come out here and pull these leaves out and cover them up. Yeah, you can see some little seeds right here that are trying to pop through. And that's what happens if I don't get these leaves out. Then these little babies can't breathe. I have more nasturtium or nastrium. This is going to be the year for nasturtium. And I'm happy. I got to treat this plant. This plant has got some issues going on with it. You can see the leaves. This is Florida. Because we are a subtropical area, I don't know if you guys can tell, it's very foggy out today. And it may stay foggy for 5-6 hours. And so that moisture just sits in the ground, and what it does is it actually just creates growth of bacteria and fungus and funk that your plants do not love. And so I have some copper, and I'm actually going to treat these plants with some copper spray today. I don't normally try to treat the plants. I really try to stay like very organic, you know, very just natural, but this time of year, I really just can't. I'm learning that I've really got to treat these plants. My uncle was a grower. He's going to be coming down soon. And he's going to come check out my garden and stuff and give me some tips and tricks to kind of help the garden through the winter. I usually do some spring growing. I do like to do winter growing, but I'm usually growing mustards or kale or something like that. And so I've been trying to do like the cabbages and some other things. Not just regular like cabbage that you see at the grocery store, like your standard cabbage that you make slaw with and stuff. But I've been trying to step out and do a lot of Asian vegetables just because I love the Asian cuisine and I love Asian vegetables. So I would just grow tons of it if I could. And like I said, I haven't been so focused on the garden because I've been working so much. Here are the other bananas. Oh my gosh, friends, I cannot wait. Y'all do not understand. It's like watching a pot boil. What do they say? Don't watch a pot boil because, like, you know, you're just wasting your life. But I literally cannot wait for these to come in. I am so excited about these bananas. And I'm actually shocked at how long bananas actually take to produce. Like, crazy. All right, so over here, this is why I said I've been doing the papayas, because over here, friends, the papayas are starting to turn. Yep, I got one that I got to get down, which I'm too short to get it. I have to get my fiance or a ladder for this one, but that's what happens in my papaya forest here. But there you go. There's a papaya. I think I can grab it. Let's see. Oh, I'm so short. All right, so we got it. I was able to reach it. So like I said, what a blessing to be getting these papayas in. If something went down, man, listen, these are so nutritious and delicious. You make smoothies and all kinds of good stuff with it. This is a good COVID food. Keeps your body healthy, you know what I mean? During the COVID times. COVID messed people up, including me. I'm like, stores closed. Just puts a pinch in your tail end to be like, hey, you never know, friends. Don't be controlled by the system. Control your own path, you know what I mean? All right, we still have, look at that, arugula in this bed. See the leaves fall? And I have to get in here and clean them up so that the plants can continue to grow. Yeah, I got that clean, but look, here's my lemongrass. My lemongrass is doing really good. See, look at all the leaves. This tree over here drops so many leaves during the winter. I've got to get all this cleaned up today. That's, as I said, there's always a lot of work to be done. Look at this lemongrass. Lemongrass makes such good tea, and it makes good nutritional broths, so we definitely want that in our lives. And over here in my side bed, I have mustard greens. I just threw them out because like I said, it's been so warm that I haven't really had the opportunity to kind of keep up with stuff. And I'm like, yeah, these will survive on their own. Because it's been so warm, they haven't been doing what they need to do. Look, there's more tomatoes that came up on their own. I did put a cage on those because they won't make it otherwise. But, and y'all, we still have key limes. Look at that. That's, I mean, there's not a plethora of key limes, but we definitely have key limes still coming on this plant. Look, key limes. Key lime. There's a yellow one right there. Oh, look here. Key lime. Key lime. This is the Mexican key lime, friends. Alright, so here are the mustard greens coming up. Oh, look. Nasturtium all on their own. So I just threw them out here. I'm definitely going to have to thin these out or they will not grow well. But you know, it's better to get something in the ground than to have nothing. For sure. I'm kind of a wild gardener like that. I don't really like, I'm not always plotting and planning. Sometimes I try to. But then the good Lord just does what he wants to do, and I'm fine with that too. I love that stuff kind of reseeds. Alright, let's go over here and... You know, friends, like I said, sometimes things just do what they want to do. And here's this tomato. Look at this tomato, friends. It's a wild, beautiful tomato. Just... Y'all don't understand. This, I'm 5'3", and this has got to be it. Like, it's way longer than me. Because it starts here and goes all the way into the bed over here. This thing is easily like 6 feet. I'm sure the camera does not do it justice, but it is. It's very, very, very long. Alright, here's a loofah hanging. And look at the arugula. I mean, you can't even tell what's happening here because there's so much arugula, which I love. Oh, look at this flower over here. Oh my gosh, friends. This is one of our, let me go around to the other side so we can check it out. My papaya fell into this tree, which is fine. Like I said, we're trashy like this. It's all good. Oh yeah, there was a papaya there and something ate it. Yeah, you can see. Look, something ate it. Ugh. Look at these flowers. They're giant. I think I saw some little pumpkins around here. Actually, I think this is... Oh, yeah. Look. Look. There's... Oh, look. Here's a little tiny one. Little tiny... flower. Friends, that's gorgeous. I'm really excited about that. That is going to be the Tennessee sweet potato squash. That's one of my favorites. I like it better than the Seminole pumpkin. I mean, I'll eat a Seminole pumpkin, but the Tennessee sweet potato squash just has so much more flavor, and that's what you want to see. Over here is where I planted all my little tiny stuff for my family and friends coming over. You know, they never one time looked over here. So it's still doing good. It's still doing good. Here's my peppers. You can see they're starting to get little flowers on them. But here's some parsley, and I have some more rosemary over here. But now this lettuce is doing good because it gets so much more shade over here. So there's another pepper plant back there. But yeah, we'll be eating some lettuce soon from here. So it's good to test your areas and figure out what works and what doesn't work. And then I have a lot of pups coming up off of this banana over here. Pups and pups. You know, the best thing to do is feed a banana. So I take the limbs and the little branches, the leaves, and when they're nasty like this, I cut them and just drop them. We have been cleaning up over here. You can see they're starting to come back to life. So we have actually been mulching that. That is good chop and drop. And so we have been adding that back into the beds, which has been really, really, really good for our beds. All right, friends. Yeah, like I said, it's super foggy out here today. I'm gonna head in and finish my papaya drink, and then we are gonna get started cleaning up today. So I just wanted to do a little walk around with you guys. Oh, that's Mr. Snuggy. Yeah, buddy. There's Tiffany. There's Pumpkin. Little sweet girl, always wagging her tail. She's always happy. What are you eating now? You eating more shell? Girl, you think we don't take care of you the way you act. Dog eats chicken, rice, vegetables. She eats anything. That's the problem. Pound dogs. Ugh, these babies. All right, friends. I got a lot to get done today, so thanks for coming on this little walk with me. I just wanted to show you what's going on in the garden, and I am going to be cutting that Chinese cabbage out because that's what we're going to be having today. Do a little stir fry with that. I love stir fry. I love Asian food, and of course we have more papaya coming in. I'm going to drop these in the freezer so that I can have them. So excited. All right, until next time, love one another, be kind, and I cannot wait to see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching and spending time with me on this December day. Well, here's your bonus, not bonus. We're gonna start cutting this out, and I just don't think you guys can actually see how much is like here. This is incredible. These leaves are just, I think I really should have brought a carrier out to take this in the house. You know, this is, technically I could just cut some of these leaves and it will keep growing. And I may just do that because I can tell you right now that this is more than we will eat, and so I might like some later in the week, and so that is probably what I am going to do. So now you can see this is kind of gonna keep growing, and we'll take this leaf here. It also gives some more room for these nasturtium to kind of pop out and do whatever. So here we go, friends. This is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. All right, thanks for staying for the extra little piece here. See you guys real soon.